she was, very excited. She threw her water bottle in the air, and of course it comes smashing down, splashes water everywhere, makes a huge noise, and it's a carpet, and it gets the carpet sopping wet.
Welcome to Chinuch Tools. It's real, it's practical, it's Hasidish and fun.
I'm Rabbi Zalmy Kudan from Chinuch Tools and the principal of Lamplighters Jewish Academy in Oxnard, California, and I'm joined with my good friend
Rabbi Avrumi Freeman, principal of Cheder of the Bay Area.
Sit back, relax, share, and enjoy.
I got a call from a teacher the other day, and she was telling me that she had a student in her class who had this giant, heavy water bottles. It's in style. These kids these days, they bring these massive, heavy-duty metal water bottles. And she was, very excited. She threw her water bottle in the air, and of course, it comes smashing down, splashes water everywhere, makes a huge noise, and it's a carpet, and it gets the carpet sopping wet. Okay, it's a mistake. The teacher understands, please put away your water bottle, make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay. The next day, again, gets the kid, again, throws the water bottle in the air, makes a big show, and slams on the floor, middle of class, right in front of everyone. So the teacher told her, this is 2 days in a row. It's becoming already a problem. Please don't bring your water bottle tomorrow. It's 2 days in a row already spilling all over the carpet. It's probably not a good idea to have a water bottle. Please don't bring it tomorrow. That night, of course, the teacher gets a text from the parent. My daughter tells me that she's not allowed to have her water bottle in class because she spilled twice. When can we talk? So I'm sure that's every teacher's favorite text to get. You disciplined my child. Now you're being held accountable for it. So the teacher told me something brilliant that they did. The parent called. Okay, fine. You do the phone call, right? The parent called and he says, wait, to start the phone call, what would you like for the result of this phone call to be?
Beautiful.
What are we trying to accomplish by this phone call? Get the parent thinking a little bit. Meaning, is the result of this call going to be that the child should learn that whenever I get in trouble in school, don't worry, just tell my parent, my mommy will call the teacher, and the teacher will take care of it. The teacher will have to change because my mommy took care of it and defended me. Is that the message you're trying to give over to your child? Is this what you're trying to get through to them? So I thought that was so brilliant because, first of all, it teaches the child and the parent what it means to take life seriously, to be really hold things accountable. That we're not just doing whatever we want and then we get in trouble and then it's this and that. It's a play back and forth, and then we negotiate with the kid and then we argue back and forth. So many times a kid asks for something and then they ask again and they ask again. There's a whole argument and discussion. The parent's like, why are you asking 30 times? But then we give in. What did you teach the kid? You taught the kid that it's okay to argue as long as you argue for 30 times, then you'll get what you want. Or as long as you go to your mother and cry, then it'll be fine and you can get away with acting crazy in class.
Beautiful story. I just want to say that my favorite part of being a teacher is when I get that call from the parents, because when the parents call me, I know that right now I get to partner with the other parents of this child. It says in the Torah, of course, that if someone who teaches a kid Torah is as if they give birth to them. And now I get an opportunity to partner with the other parents of this child. And I know that we're going to come together and it's going to be not only good for the child in school, but also for the child at home. There's going to be some type of synergy and some type of growth that happens in this experience. And so you said that it's the teacher's worst nightmare, but for me, it's literally the best part of my job. And it just happened yesterday. There was a kid who was having a really hard time in school. And, and the parent reached out to me and I said, yes, when can we talk? And we got on a Zoom together and it was the best thing that happened. It turned the entire focus of everything that it went from darkness to light. And
right.
This happens consistently. And I just one thing that I think, but I think
right.
The story really highlights.
That's brilliant. It's kind of similar when a parent gets really, really passionate about some version or some style of chinuch thing, some new thing that they've discovered, and then they apologize afterwards, like, sorry if I said anything offensive or passionate. I'm like, no, that's beautiful. It shows passion. That's what we really want from our parents is is to be passionate and show that you really, really care about the chinuch of your children. Like, what would you rather? An apathetic parent body, like that just doesn't like, okay, kind of just take them in school and do whatever you want, or parents that are really working with you, that you could work on a midah, and then the parents jump on board and they really get involved and look into it and work with you on in a passionate way, in a way that they really, really care, and they're really going to bring it like to a very practical way, that and implement it not just in school but at home as well.
So we've been doing a few of these podcasts, and what I love about our podcast is that it doesn't always go the way that we envisioned. But I think one of the things that we talk about a lot, you and I, is that every detail counts. Every detail counts. There's there's no part of chinuch that we could just ignore. Because if you do, that's going to like suck out all the energy of the person, classroom, child's chinuch, whatever lesson. I think this is like an opportunity for us, like when parents raise an issue, because they're looking at it from a different view than we are. We have our glasses on, and we have the schedule, the format, we have the long-term goals, we have, the way that the lessons are developed, or the curriculum is developed. Yeah, right. So we have it all figured out, but the parents have a very emotional connection to their children, and they hear things that we don't hear necessarily. We may not hear that there's cursing going on the bus, or whatever. So the parents find out about it. So just having that give and take is so cool, to be able to really do what we want to do for the children, is really tear apart our own efforts. What are we really being effective as teachers, and letting the parents kind of give us that feedback, and then we get to grow. We get to educate ourselves and find the things that we need to do to improve.
Right.
And
one thing you definitely learn from parents is when the children are stressed and when they're being put under pressure. You definitely find out from the parents when the kids come home and homework is too hard, or there's a big test coming up and it's so stressful. And the parents' reaction often, and rightfully so, this is their job, to keep to keep their children safe and in a protected environment. It's like, is this too much for my child? Can they handle it? One of the things that it was interesting to learn becoming a school principal is that the teachers want you to hold the kids accountable and help them with strengthening the class. And of course, that's what you're here for, is to hold the kids accountable and to keep the discipline strong. And then the parents just want you to go to the teachers and get them to be more kind to the students. So you have two opposite voices in your head: the parents who want you to be more sweet and kind to the kids, and then the teachers who want you to really come down on the kids and teach them the discipline and the focus and hard work.
And perhaps this balance, let's try this. Perhaps this balance of severity and discipline and structure and safety, and I know what to expect, and I can't just get away with it. And then balancing that with love and the tone of voice that we use, and the compassion, and taking the moment to explain why we're doing what we're doing, so that the child's able to get on board with it. So the hava v'chiba, the love and the compassion, that balance is probably at the core of our job.
Right. So like, you can have a really strict parent who disciplines very, very strongly at home, and the kid really needs those boundaries and needs those things to be set. And you need to set those boundaries. So I had a kid a while ago who was, let's say, having a hard time in class staying focused, and get really funny jokes to say, and was really entertaining. And so he gets a new thing in class. He finds a funny thing, and everyone has to be laughing, and the teacher's trying to quiet everyone down. And the whole class is already on shpilkus. It's chaos. So you could either sit down with the kid and make him, like back in the day, they used to make me stand in the corner with my hands raised until maybe the Yetzer Hara drains from the blood. The Yetzer Hara is in the blood, so maybe the Yetzer Hara drained out of my arms or something. I'm not sure the mission of it, or writing lines, or paying money. Huh?
I think it might be why you're so tall.
I stood with my hands up for so many hours.
Stretch out.
Or in camp, running the bases barefoot at night. All the fun things. But instead, you sit with the kid and say, hey, listen, I know that you love Hashem, and I know that you want the right thing. And of course, you don't want to be disturbing. It's just sometimes there's funny jokes. And the kid says, yeah, I just wanted to make Yeah, 100%. But also, between me and you, who's telling you that you should make a big funny joke right now? Is that you, or is that your Zahara coming and attacking you? It's my Yitzhahara, but he's so strong. What am I supposed to do? Sometimes he's
That's
really, really
funny.
strong. I said,
Yeah.
well, you know what? I'm here to help you and battle that Yitzhahara with you. But you know what? I don't want this to be a battle that you have to suffer with for so long and constantly battle and go. We're going to get rid of this once and for all. We're going to do something to make sure that it never, ever happens anymore, that we're totally done with it. And
Yeah.
we're going to work hard at that.
Yeah.
So let's together think of a bunch of ways. Let's think of ways that we're going to battle these Yitzhahara and never happen again. The kids write the cutest things like, "Oh, I'm gonna think about Hashem. I'm gonna think that it's my Yitzhahara," and all sorts of ideas. And you could even have them like present it as like a presentation to the teacher of how we're going to work on it better in class. These are such great tools where the kid, on the one hand, is being disciplined. He's missing recess. He's suffering. Like the poor kid wants to just go out and play. The last thing a kid wants to do is have this conversation with you. That's for sure. They definitely don't want to have a conversation about their midas with you.
So I tell the kids, and the kids all know how many recesses are left in the year because lunch recesses
Exactly.
are big time. So I tell them, I said, listen, I have 127 recesses left this year,
Right.
and my greatest pleasure would be to help you learn this skill, to be quiet during class, or to keep your hands to yourself, or whatever it is. The only challenge I have is that I'm really busy during the day. I do have recesses open, so I have
Right.
127 recesses. That's what I can teach you. So if you need my help, that's fine. If you're able to do it yourself, even better.
Yeah, but
And
at the same
so,
time,
yeah.
the kid also feels, oh my gosh, the Rebbe's on my team, right? Rabbi
Someone
Freeman
told me
really
actually,
wants me to improve.
one of the kids told me that he knew. He told me this year. He says, I know that Rabbi Freeman really cared because he never let me fail. He never let me not learn the Chumash. I had to be successful in his class.
That's right.
There you go. And
100%.
I just want to say something. There's three. I mean, this year I've been blessed with watching the most incredible team of new teachers grow and build and get into the challenge. And what I've seen is that it's really true. There's three steps. There's safety, which is the, if you want to call it the gvura, the there's rules and there's systems and you got to keep them. And the kids will test it. Is this a safe room? Because
Right.
if Rebbe doesn't know how to get me quiet, that means that I'm in charge of the room.
Right. The
And I'm
three
only
pillars of a
12.
classroom. One of them
And I'm only
is
12.
safety. Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm only 12, it's not good that I'm in charge of the classroom. So first is safety. Then there's connection. Got to make some Shabbatons, got to make some
Fun
trips,
things.
got to
Yeah.
make some siyums, got to make it fun, got to have, some awkward moments in the classroom, some things to laugh about. And then the third thing is learning. And if you don't
Actual learning,
go
like
through
really
each,
getting things done.
really learn. Yeah, of course you'll go through some psukim, but
I'm
if you
telling you,
want
if
to
you're a
really
teacher
learn
and
and
you
grow,
have any two of those three, you won't get fired. If you learn and don't have any, you learn and you have safety, but you don't have that much connection, they'll keep you. If you have lots of connection and you have very safe environment, but they don't learn anything, they'll keep you. Any two of those three, there'll be people that are happy enough. But if you have all three, it's an unbelievable environment.
and you have to do it in order. So if you're not able to connect to the kids, if you feel there's no connection, check your safety. Do the children feel safe? We have to go back to that gvura. We have to go back to that, the
Yeah,
systems.
sometimes it's hard for the kids to learn if they're, or sometimes it's hard for kids to connect if they don't feel safe. They don't have that yisoid of Kabbalah's. Oh,
It's only, yeah, and it's not only, it's all of us. If I don't feel safe, I'm not open to connection. I'm always on guard. I'm protecting myself. And so once there needs, but then it's got to be followed by the connection, and that's when the kid knows, okay, this is not just
interesting.
because he hates me, it's because he loves me and he cares about me and he's not giving up on me, and he's still not giving up on me, and he's still not giving up on me.
So you're saying, although some teachers are stronger in one of the three than others, or two of the three than the others, it's kind of a ladder in a certain way, in the sense that at a basic level, at least you need to have that safety and structure where the kids know what the boundaries are, and it's very clear to them, and they have to know what it means to listen, and then you can move on. Only once you have that foundation, like in the Mishkan, you have you say there's a Mishkan, the foundation made out of silver. Then you can move on to connection or to actual learning or other things. Because if the kid, he won't have dots, he won't feel settled, he won't be miyushav, he won't be calm if he doesn't know what can happen at any moment. A paper airplane can come flying at him, or someone could start yelling and jumping on their chair. They won't feel calm. They won't be able to learn. They won't be able to connect even to their teachers. They won't be able to have a good time.
So how do you know? When you're being too strict or too much chesed, too much love? How do you know what the child is holding? Is he working on safety or connection, or is this an academic challenge? Because there's always challenges in the class. How do I know if it's a safety challenge? I don't know if it's a connection challenge. He's just not jiving with the teacher. Or how do I know if it's a learning challenge? He's just not getting the learning for some reason.
Mm-hmm. How do I know each one what it is? How do I?
So I had an experience recently with a student who was not able to be successful for whatever reason. It wasn't jiving. And first we tried the discipline thing. Wasn't working. Then we tried the learning style, and maybe he doesn't learn yet. Maybe he's missing a step.
Well, the foundation of any kid that's having problems is, what did you eat for breakfast this morning, and how much sleep did you get
Correct.
last night?
Very good. Okay. And honestly, this kid does not eat breakfast. I still don't know if he eats breakfast. So it is a challenge. But one thing I'll say is that it came up with the real answer was so not the answer I was looking for. And I think, when the Friedrich Rebbe talks about, you have to, like, when you pull apart a machine to find the defective part, you literally are inspecting each piece. Is this working? Yeah, okay. Is this working? Well, it's working, but it's a little rusty. And until you find, and then once you have a full picture of what's going on, then you can start building. When I took the time and the patience, took 5 parent meetings, when I took the time and the patience to really find it, once we found that piece that was broken, changed the whole story.
Right.
Change the whole story.
You really got to make sure and you can't just take advice from somebody else who had a similar situation and did the same thing, because often that similar situation isn't all that similar as you imagine it to be, and it's really a totally different issue here. And this kid needs the exact opposite of what the other kid needed. Maybe one kid needs a hug, and one kid needs a bit of a patch. One kid needs discipline, and one kid needs connection, and one kid needs just validation. Every kid might need something else.
And the humbling part for me is when I think I know the answer, because I'm experienced, I'm smart, I get kids, I know what this kid needs. And then when I finally stop and I listen, and you know what, this kid actually wants me to put it to a higher level of learning. I thought I'm doing them a favor, socially, religiously, spiritually. It's a better teacher. It's a better
easy,
format,
right? But really they wanted intense. They want
to be pushed. They want to be pushed. And we put the kid up to, he wasn't davening in the lower davening class, but when I put him up to minyan, which is the higher davening class, suddenly he's thriving. He's davening like a mensch.
Sometimes that's
felt
the
like a
case.
baby
Sometimes
there.
the saddest thing for a kid is when you tell him, don't worry, you don't have to do that question on the test. Don't worry, you only have to score this on the test. And the kid wants to be doing, no, you can get 100 on the test. You can get every single thing correct. What are you talking about? This is what you got. You got a 50. They want you to yell at them because they want you to believe in them. They're begging for somebody to believe in them and to show them that they could do it. And you know what? You're going to spend an hour at home working, and you're going to get it. And we believe that you can get it. And you can do a faster Kriya. You can get the words faster. You can get it better. You can. At verse 2, don't worry. We'll modify it for you. We'll give you a modified test, and you'll still get a candy anyways. Just for getting the way you are, how it is, you'll get a reward, because we know that you put in effort. No, maybe the kid doesn't believe that they believe that they could put in more effort, and they'll be happy that you push them, and they'll be happy to be miserable about it as well a little bit. They'll be happy with that struggle. And that with that difficult, because Adam la'amal yulad, people love struggling. People love, complaining how difficult class is and how much they have to work for it. That's part of the enjoyment. First of all, the complaining itself is part of the enjoyment. And they complain to the parents how hard it is. It's the best part.
It is the best part. And I think we've said it before, but I think we have to say it again. People love complaining. I mean, if you chas v'shalom go on, websites and read magazines that are probably, do not fulfill your mitzvah of limud Torah, and help you
It's all
abstain from bittul
complaints.
Torah. But look at the comments. These are adults. These are the
I know.
adults. These are the people that we're looking up to. The kids see they're complaining all the time, and we have to believe that they're doing it in person also. I
Right,
catch
right, right.
myself complaining. I catch myself complaining about
And then
things.
even when you come up with a good solution for something, people what they want to tell you is how they didn't have that solution when they were young and how miserable it was.
Right, and they still want to complain, and
And that's
what
fine.
I mean, as long as we allow them to do it, like, listen, I don't want to stop you from complaining. I think it's great. Right now is not a good time, but come over after class. Literally, I want to hear everything. I want to hear everything,
Yeah, the whole story.
and I don't want to get into this too much now because I'm really excited about We're now in 50 years from Shnas Chinuch when the Rebbe taught the 12 psukim, and this is the Rebbe's way of teaching the children. The Rebbe said, first, learn these 12 psukim and learn them by heart and teach them to a friend. Okay? And write your name in the booklet. These are your psukim. Okay, this is your Torah. Yeah. Then the Rebbe started telling the kids, hey, you know that it says in Torah Tziv Alanu Moshe Brashki Yaakov. So you know that Torah is a gift that you own. So when you ask a question in Torah, you're just unwrapping a little bit of your birthday present. You're just discovering more than you. Oh, but it's too hard. We just had it. We just had it. I'm right now really infused by the Rebbe's sichas of Shas Chinuch and the 12 Psukim, and I literally quoted the Rebbe.
Driving with kids unbuckled. Got it. Okay. Taking notes here.
We were pulling out of the thing.
Yeah, I hear excuses.
So I said, the Rebbe knows how to say this. So I'm going to say it the Rebbe's way. I said, you know the pasuk Yigaiti Matzasi Tamin, right? She says, yeah. This is a first grader.
Right.
I said, so what do you know that you have to do if you can't do something? She said, keep trying. I said, right. Oh, I got it. That's how it happened. Great. Yeah, the Rebbe says that because the Rebbe says that if you say I can't, that means that you're listening to Yetzer Hara, because the Yetzer Hara, only the Yetzer Hara, the old foolish king, would come to you and say that you can't do something. Because even you're a little kid, you know what it says in Torah. You know that it says that if you keep trying, you'll get there.
Empowerment. Although for the record, Yigaitu Mitzasi Tamin is specifically about Limud Torah. It doesn't mean that you could lift at 1,000 pounds if you want, or if you try.
But so let me tell. I don't know how much I should give away over here, but the Rebbe says that means that Torah is everywhere, and Torah is everything. And the example that Rebbe gives is eating healthy. The Rebbe says when you come home, you're going to see you have a choice of food. Should I eat the junk food, the junk candy, or should I eat healthy food? And you remember it says, you know that it says, even when you're in your house, when you're on your way, you're still learning Torah. So that means that everything you approach with a Torah perspective, because you also know that Torah Tziv Alanu Moshe Brashki Yaakov is that it's in everything. And it's everything's created by Hashem. So everything's an opportunity for Torah.
Right. Well,
so even though it's so it's true that you got
everything is part of that experience, is part of the Torah experience. Yeah,
it's amazing. And I'm telling you, the more you learn this, and I encourage everybody to get involved. There's a humongous launch happening now. If you're a teacher or a parent or any type of person, the whole point of Shas Chinuch was that what was the mitzvah chinuch? That the kids are mechanechim. Mm-hmm. Stop looking at kids as students. Start looking at them as teachers. The kids are teaching. When a kid asks a question in your class, he's teaching the class something. When a kid, and that was the whole point. The Rebbe says you're going to teach these psukim to someone else, and you're going to be able to share. And the Rebbe said you're going to teach your parents. The Rebbe speaks about teaching parents to come to the Seder. The Rebbe is very respectful, so it's cool. The Rebbe teaches the kids how to speak to their parents, to motivate them in a positive way, that they're going to see that you're excited about mitzvahs. They're going to want to also make a Seder for you.
Right. They're going to want to. So there's the Sikha, a famous Sikha about the moon's complaint, and how beautiful that the Rebbe describes that. So often we look at somebody and say, "Oh, they're supposed to receive from me," but really you're the one that's receiving so much more from them. And in this case, the Rebbe looks at the kids and says, "These are not the ones that we're supposed to be educating. We're benefiting much more from them. The moon is greater than the sun. You know, the ones that we look at and we're trying to educate, really, they're the ones teaching us, especially before Mashiach comes. You know, the last generation, Ikvas of the Mashiach, that the kids are the ones that are teaching their parents about things.
And when a kid asked the question, why do we have to learn this in class? I said, wow, someone is thinking about their gift, their Torah, that Hashem gifted them when they were 0 years old. And they want to unwrap another level. They want to understand it. They want to know more. I'm so excited to be able to help you understand this a little bit more. Why do we have to learn this? And then the whole class it's a whole different energy in the classroom because there's
Right.
already murmuring, shifting, you have to learn to be up, but or the teacher or the parent, when you're able to take your children's questions, and it means that it is their Torah. I get to gift you with something. This is very special. It's a very special thing, but it has to come with the love and the discipline. If there's not safety and connection, it doesn't work. If the kid thinks you're just trying to get them off their back, or you're just trying to get control over the classroom because you don't have control over the classroom, so then who's in charge? So then I'm in charge. If the kid's in charge, that's scary.
Right. I mean, I think that's definitely that loving experience for the child definitely is the ideal way of getting anything through to the child is through in a loving experience and showing them that you're on their team. And maybe they'll still be upset and frustrated about it, but they'll know that it's for a reason. They'll know that it's not you're just being mean and vindictive.
Vindictive, good word. Double point value. Do you feel so in Parak Beis Tanya, it says that every feeling has a positive and a negative, right? There's the Daled Yesodot Harayim, there's the four, everything in the world is made out of air, fire, dirt, and water. But there's the good ones and the bad ones, right? So there's a natural kindness, but then you could be too kind. You could be giving food to a drug addict or money to a drug addict. Right. So I find that there's two behaviors. One is the good expression, one is the bad expression. The bad expression is called stubborn, and the good expression is called patience. So I find that when a child is being stubborn in developing a certain behavior or learning something, I have to counter that with patience. And in my history of Chinuch, Baruch Hashem, it's been quite a while, I've only met one student who's more stubborn than I am patient. Or maybe I'm also stubborn. I don't know. I'm trying to frame myself as being the good guy, but
I don't know.
Like outlast me.
But not always does that work. Sometimes you can't just be patient with a kid who's punching other kids in class. That's not patience that you're using there. And they're stubborn. They want to do it.
Okay, but we've talked about this, the red light rules. So when we're in a community, then what works best for you is not always available. So for me to get to school on time, it's best if I go through the red light. But because there's other drivers, I have to stop myself. So even though it's best for me to drive through the red light rule is not a rule for me. It's not even good for me. It's good for
the idea,
the community.
The notion or the idea that we should have patience with children does not apply to urgent matters that affect other people.
Well, I do believe that if I have patience long enough, this child will cease to try to harm other people or derail my class in a way that harms other people or
right, but I'm not spending 3 weeks.
Right now, there's a red light
with the student.
Red light.
Right. I'm not having patience with a student who's calling out in class. That's not patience right now. Right now, that's a red light. That's excuse me. Right now,
I use that word in class.
In this classroom, we don't talk. That's not okay.
I use that word in class. I will say, excuse me, I need you to go outside, take a break, and you will have to make up the time in recess.
And if it's something outrageous, then it can't just get a melancholy reaction. You have to match the energy sometimes too. If somebody punches somebody in the face, it can't have the same reaction as somebody calling out in class also, right? It has to have a harsher reaction.
So I had an experience. I'm watching on the video cameras. I'm observing a class. I was in the middle of a teacher's meeting, but I was just keeping my eyes on things. And I see a student get up out of his seat, take a tissue, put it on top of his Rebbe's hat, and sit back down in class. And the Rebbe keeps teaching, and about 15 seconds later, the kid gets back up, takes the tissue off, and sits back down. So I quickly went back, I saved the clip of the video, and by recess, I called over the kid. I showed him the video. I said, tell me about this. If you want a chinuch tool, tell me about this. It's a great chinuch tool.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Tell me more. You get a lot of it. You get a lot. Kid says, yeah, well, I was bored and whatever, and I went and I put the thing on the tissue thing. I said, yeah. He said, but I took it off. I said, I saw that. See, there it is. You're taking it off. I said, I'm just curious, by the way, what did Rebbe do? He looks at me with a big smile. He says, nothing. I was so impressed.
I was so impressed.
I'll tell you what that kid learned from Rebbe. The kid learned from Rebbe is self-control.
Right.
The kid learned from Rebbe patience. And I believe that the kid was hoping to derail the whole class. He was hoping Rebbe would give him a chelik. He was hoping, and the Rebbe's patience made it. It was the biggest chinuch lesson. And afterwards, and I said, do you know what Rebbe told me? Rebbe told me is that he didn't want to react because he didn't want you to think that he was mad at him or mad at you or angry at you. He wanted you to come to it yourself. And right. I couldn't control myself.
That approach could work with some kids sometimes.
So I said, but
kids, it does not work.
Right, but I said I couldn't control myself.
Sometimes you need to.
Could be. I said I couldn't control myself. I said I have to say something because this is a red light rule. I told them. I said this is affecting other kids in the class. They see you doing this. They don't 100%. Know. They don't know. And so I said, so what are you going to do to make it better? So he did. He did a public apology in class. The kid, and the Rebbe accepted it. It was wild. But the point is.
And you made it into a significant thing that the kid should know that that's outrageous. That's
there was no way I was letting that go by without. There's no way.
That's completely outrageous.
Yeah, but it was. There was something so special about the whole thing, and it really did. It did. In other words, between the Rebbe's reaction and my reaction, we were able to create a sense of safety and accountability. He was able to apologize, which helped improve the connection. It's working. It's working.
Right. So he didn't just get kicked out of school for a month and hate the system and hate the teacher and hate the principal and hate everybody. Instead,
and
he didn't get yelled at and screamed at.
No yelling.
Instead, he got to be impressed by his teacher that he has self-control. He got to respect his teacher, who clearly cares about him and is not here to get him. And he got to see that Rabbi Zalmy is going to hold him accountable. I wish he got to see that the teacher too got. There was the apology allowed the class to see that the teacher was holding an account. That was what we came up with. Cares.
That's what we came up with. That's what we came up with. Yeah, that was the problem that we had to solve. Was that Rebbe was being didn't want to make a big deal in class, but we can't have this happen in Rebbe's class. So what's going to happen, right? So that was an interesting thing. And I will say this: one of the things that I'm very aware of is that it's not good for the principal to solve discipline issues in a class, because the kids could get the impression that Rebbe doesn't have a handle on it and needs
control.
Rabbi needs the principal. So this is something that we have to be aware of.
Why was this an exception? And that's how it was dealt with. That the principal was stepping in.
I was sharing a story. I don't know what to tell you. It happened.
That's just what happened.
In general, there are ways of framing it also, that Rebbe is not going to take time away from class to practice people who have self-control issues. Only Rabbi Zalmy has time for that during recess. So if you need self-control training, you're going to be assigned by Rebbe to Rabbi Zalmy's school of self-control.
Right. But that's just because, right. One of the tips I got that was really great is that when you are working with kids during recess, even so, it shouldn't be like a whole big deal and that getting all this attention and everything out of it. You could be doing work, you could be writing something, learning something, the kid's doing his thing, not getting any special attention. They're practicing, they're doing their training. It's not a love and care session when you're making up work or when you're rectifying something or you're trying to train a new behavior.
Correct. And it's calm. We're doing something important here, by the way. We're learning self-control. We both love math class being persistence training, right? I think I've told that story before here.
That's the main
So
value of math class. And
you've
if
heard
you're
it
going
here
to have
first on
math
Chinuch
class in
Tools
your school,
podcast. Math class is for persistence training, not math.
there's
Math you
nothing
can
there.
learn. I mean, listen, it's good. It's a good math training. There are certain basics of math that are helpful, but ultimately, ChatGPT can do math better than you every single time. So you will never really need this in real life. However, you will need to do difficult things that you don't like to
Definitely.
do again and again. So that's
That's
good
for
training.
sure. Yeah. And you'll have to do things and be accountable and remember things to bring
And you
back
should
and
know,
forth.
and you should know if you got underpaid a couple $100. Like that's also
Well,
important.
yeah, that might be good. That might be good. That might be helpful. That
Yeah,
happens all
so
too often, unfortunately.
it's good, people make mistakes. Humans are humans, So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Although nowadays people just take a picture of the contract and send it into the AI, and that's it.
Yeah, don't trust AI.
No, we just had some major mishaps with AI. It doesn't always get everything right. It makes a bum mice all too often, but hopefully that gets better.
Well, yeah, I think. Well, I think one of the important things to remember is that, I don't know if we have to get into that here, but AI is meant to be creative. So, if you're trying to get a Torah thought from a creative mind, we don't want We don't need to be creative in Torah. We need to create in Torah, not creative. Not create Torah. Okay, fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, we don't want to create Torah. We want to be. Yeah. So I mean, it's not the right tool for that.
Right. It's also does not have tainug and ratzon. It doesn't have its own desire. It doesn't have its own
Yeah.
enjoyment, which doesn't make it a very good teacher because it doesn't get excited about things genuinely. Like you could tell that it's missing that enjoyment of the conversation with you. It's missing that desire to do something. It's just kind of going with whatever you want. It's not desiring something for self unless you input a desire into it. Maybe I don't know if that works.
I'm not
But a
sure.
real teacher is somebody a child can connect with and feel that the teacher cares about him. And you can only care about somebody if you want something and if you enjoy
Yeah.
something and you feel things. So you can mimic
It's
emotions, but
called an
you can't feel
neshama. It's called an
enjoyment.
neshama. It's called an
Yeah,
neshama.
neshama,
The
100%.
A in artificial intelligence is the problem.
The
Yeah,
A.
the AI, right? Intelligence is great. The artificial part is okay.
Artificial.
So back to the classroom. How do we know? I guess my teva is to err on the side of Ahava v'chiba because I feel like if I need to build up more structure, I can always do that later. But if I ruin my relationship, it's going to be where the chips are down by Rick Lavoie. I don't.
Yeah, and my teva is definitely to start off with the structure and to make sure that things are being run properly and there's proper respect, which is why we
Yes,
work so great together.
we do. But one of the things I really love about your first couple weeks of school is the way you walked the kids into class probably 150 times over the first 2 weeks. We did the math, right? We're back
Right.
to math class. Okay, 5 minutes a day times 170 days of school is 2 weeks of a class. So if we
It's
waste five
training to
minutes
be
of class,
quiet, training to walk properly, training how to raise your hand properly,
yeah, but
training,
you learn. You're saving learning. But what you did, you walked everybody into class, sat down, you said, "You did it great. You did it great. You did it great." And you said what they did. You said you were walking. You were quiet the whole time. You had your books on the table. Let's see if we can all get it great. And then you did it again. You said, you did it great twice already. You could stay here. Let's all see if we can get it. And
yeah,
it was never punitive. It was never punishing. It was so nice.
right, yeah,
So even though you are a system, you do focus on the systems and the rules. I don't think you've lost the love. I
it's
think all the
important.
kids know you love
It's
them.
important to keep it positive, to keep a smile on your face, even while you're teaching, because it's just like teaching anything. Teaching how to line up or teaching how to be quiet is just like teaching a new concept or a new idea or a new skill. If you're teaching a kid how to throw a ball, you're not necessarily angry at them if they don't throw it right, right? So if a kid is calling out in class just because he doesn't know yet or he doesn't understand that you really mean it yet, then it's the same thing. You smile on your face. Okay, we're going to practice that again. It's not like a red
And
light.
it's right. And
It's not
imagine
like a
they
red
learn
light
to
rule. A kid punching somebody or something significant where
right.
it's a safety issue, then it's a different story.
And if
Or
they learned it
immediate
differently,
danger. Go ahead.
No, if they learned it differently from another teacher last year, they come into class, you have a new routine, and then suddenly you're mad at them for not knowing the routine. So
Right.
that means that I'm a failure. I'm not gonna. I can't do this, teacher. I can't do this, teacher. But if the teacher
Mhm.
comes in with, "Hey guys, we're gonna learn something new, and it's gonna take us time, and we're gonna practice this a lot over the next couple weeks." So you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place. We're all doing good. And guess what? The first day, we already got it down to 30 seconds to be ready for class. I know that
Right.
you guys can be ready for class in 12 seconds.
Using a
We're gonna get
timer and
there.
making challenges is really cool. It's really helpful. Even when I'm doing Kriya with my kids, right? When I'm getting them to read faster, using a timer and showing them you can get better. You could like we did it in 4 minutes now, that page. Let's see if we can get it down to 3 minutes. Let's see if we can get it down to 2 minutes. All right. Like
Yeah,
just making challenges, showing any skill that you're trying to build, making it a challenge, making it an exciting activity takes it from like a boring, oh my gosh, we're in trouble, we have to do it again, to like, oh my, we could get this even better. No way, that's awesome. Let's see if we can clean up the entire classroom in just 7 seconds. That would be unbelievable. And you like introduce it like that, and then you throw all the papers away all over again. Everything that they just cleaned up, you make the massive mess. But the kids are excited that the Rebbe's throwing it because now we get to practice and we get
it's a
to
relay
learn how to
race.
clean super fast.
Love it. I had a fun experience this year. We developed together the Korea Champ metrics. And so last year, a couple kids who had achieved Black Champ, I walked in one day, I said, guys, not today, but by the end of the week, I am going to be testing every Black Champ from last year to see where you're holding now. And I was expecting this whole like panic attack. I was like, duh, of
Like
course.
obviously, of course,
And I was like, and guess what was mind blowing is that every single one of them passed Black Champ again.
yeah.
There's a certain
And
thing that
maintain it.
when you consider yourself a master at something, if you
I
mastered
remember
something,
when we first introduced the system, and there was one boy who heard. I explained to everyone, like, listen, we got our goal is to be able to read fast. So right now you could read
and well,
3 lines in two
yeah,
minutes and accurate, fast and accurate,
yeah, yeah.
right? So right now you could read 3 lines in 2 minutes, and my goal is for you to be able to read 30 lines in 2 minutes. And the kids were like, "Whoa, 30 lines! Like that? Could I ever even do that?" But I challenged them, and slowly they started picking up until one kid one day said, "You know what? I'm gonna get this." And his mother called me a few days later and said, "I don't know what you're doing at school, but my kid sits with a timer every night for 3 hours for the past week. Every night, sitting with a tehillim and a timer, reading and reading and reading and reading and timing himself how fast, and spending hours at home on his own time trying to improve because he has the goal, he has it clear, and he's taking perhaps one of the most boring things that we teach kids, which is just the meticulous reading of every single letter and every single nakuda properly. He took it and made it into an exciting challenge, an exciting thing, and it is in a loving way, and it's a great experience now. And now he could challenge against his friends.
Yeah.
From Tarba Chachma.
I think what I see is the kids are really challenged by themselves. They're not challenged by their friends. People are so excited for another kid to go up a level, even if they're struggling.
Right.
People
Right.
are
So
so
there are
excited.
games in which it's competitive only, and there are games where
Yeah.
you're excited for yourself to win, and you're also excited for other people to get better. They
Well,
say that
they
about
see the
Jewish money.
improvement.
They say Jews, when they make money, their friends make money too, and that's one of the big successes of the Jewish community. Is that
Oh,
when one person does well,
how do I
it is of course a little
get
bit
in?
competitive, but you're also trying to make your friends benefit too.
How do I get in?
How do I, Rabbi Zalmy needs to find these Jews.
Yeah, it was a chinuch moment. I was with my kids in a department store. Did I tell you this? We discussed this already. We'll tell the story again.
Yeah.
We don't want to bore the viewers. I think the main thing from a chanach, a parent, or any type person who's trying to educate and help another person grow, is to realize and accept and put into practice the fact that it takes a ton of time to get this right. You really need to focus on what do I need to give my class? What do I need to give this student? What is this kid missing? What is it?
Right.
Take it apart, put it
And
back
be
together again.
methodical to know which one to work on first and which one to work on second.
Exactly. And no kids are the same. There's not one system for every kid, and there's not one system for every teacher.
Right.
What works for me doesn't work for you all the time. There are templates that work.
Right. We know that we need to hold kids accountable. We know that we need to be consistent. We know that we also need to be loving. And we know that we could push our kids to be excellent, not just to be mediocre, but really to work on themselves and to work hard. And when we do that, they enjoy it and they jump right on, and they're excited to be hard workers and to be passionate workers and to be in the project and to strive for excellence and even for perfection in certain things. Whatever that really is, perfection.
I'm not sure what perfection means, but practice makes better, and keep practicing. More practice makes better.
To be tzaddikim.
Yeah, whatever that means. Yeah, but it's good. But what I see is is that if you just have the patience and yes, the stubbornness, that I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. We're going to keep getting. We're going to get there. Going to get there.
That's
I teach 5. I teach 5 new Gemara words every week. Most of my class right now knows 45 Gemara words. We're Chav Cheshvan. They know them.
That's one method is the patience, but the truth is sometimes there are other tools that you could use. You could use even showing and really animating and explaining why what they're doing is never okay and just not going to be happening anymore.
Okay, I'm saying the other way around. I'm saying my own page. In other words, sometimes I try to do a sharp discipline action and it doesn't work either. It's still, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
There's, I think too often educators, including myself, have given up. We said it's just not working. Let's try something else. Whoa, slow down. Maybe sometimes you have to not, that's why we have much being friends.
You have to move different strategies, but sometimes, remember you were saying about the teacher who was on his 5th discipline system of the year.
Exactly. By Yitzhak Kislev. Exactly.
Yitzhak Kislev, 5 different discipline systems.
That's not safe.
That's not safe at all. Yeah. Something's fundamentally wrong if you're on your 5th discipline system of the year. It's not the discipline system that's the problem at that point.
Correct. So I think that's what I mean by patience. I don't mean we don't always have the liberty of being patient with a behavior that's affecting other people, but we have patience with a kid, with the chinuch, as we've discussed many times, which is the long haul, that long-term goal of this kid's going to be a mensch one day, and he's going to be an advocate for Torah, and it's because this challenge this is where we're going to teach it. We have an opportunity now to gift this child with patience, with respect, with consideration, with, So someone complained that a kid is being very inconsiderate to others. The next morning, I show up at school, and I see this kid holding open the door for a teacher who has a stroller.
That's very considerate, yeah.
I said, wow, whatever her name was, Zlata. I said, wow, you just held open that door for the teacher. That was kind and considerate. So she has like a shy smile. I said, do you know the difference between kind and considerate? She says, no. I said, well, kind means you did something nice, but consider means to think about. Mm-hmm. You noticed the teacher coming out of her car with a stroller. You waited about 20 seconds for it to get to the door. So you thought ahead. It wasn't just like she was there, so you did something kind. You actually thought about it. That's considerate.
Or kind could be also to give peanut butter cookies to somebody who's allergic to peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly. Kind, yeah. Yeah. Right. But the point is that it's good to be kind 90% of the time. But that's almost easier than being considerate. Considerate demands.
Definitely. Kind could be a nature too.
Or a habit.
If you enjoyed that, please join us for future episodes of the Chinuch Tools podcast.